Let's first configure the basic setup for part 1. We will configure both the interfaces and the ring ports. Then, regarding the test area, this includes addresses such as span 1, span 2, leaf 1, ed2, and RB. These have already been configured. We still need to configure on our end. Everyone must know which device interfaces connect to which and what the interface addresses are. What is the ID for each device? You must be familiar with these. Only after familiarizing yourself with them will you configure something like EVPN. Configuration is done on the controller. Then you will know how to operate. Which interface do you connect to? What else is there to say? Especially the interfaces connecting to the firewall. The interfaces on this side and span 3 connecting to the firewall interface. Why? Because our test environment is fine. The devices in the test area all have 25G interfaces. 25G is what it uses to connect to the firewall. XG1021 and 102. These interfaces because they are 1G or 10G interfaces. At this time, 25G and 10G cannot match up. So this means the interface is down. So you need to know how the firewall and span are connected. If you find that all interfaces are down, you need to know which interface to undo. Which interface needs to be activated when down. We need to change its mode. Change it from 25G to 10G. After that, the interface will be directly on and not down. Meaning you change this if you find the interface is down, simply undoing it doesn't make sense. You must locate this interface. Then change its mode to 10G. Then it will function normally. Including our site 2, this site is span 3 and leaf 4. This connection point during ZTB3 also needs to find this interface. Change the interface mode to 10G, especially for span 3 and the firewall. This will definitely be down at that time. It will definitely be down. It must be activated. The mode must be changed. If not changed, you won't find the interface. This part cannot be operated. Essentially, just give up. Okay, let's start configuring. As mentioned earlier, right? This interface ring port 0 is 10.3.3. Ring port 0 is 100.1.1. This is 10.23.3, 4.4, 5.5, 6.6. And these are 11, 12, 13, 14. It's arranged like 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, 12, 11, 12. The addresses are arranged this way. Then the address for span 1 is 12. It should be 10. Let's check. It should be 10. That's how it's set up. This is 10.1.1.13. This is 17. This is 21. This is 25. What do you say it is? It's added in groups of 4. This is 13, 21, 25. The opposite side just adds them together. This side is 33, 41, 45. It's configured like this. All these are on the 10 network. This side is essentially what 10.1.1.14, right? This is 14. This is 34, right? This is 18, right? This is 38. It's arranged like this. It's arranged like this. Okay, let's first pair this up. Firstly, let me explain. That is, let me check. This is our framework, span 1, span 2. We should also use a CRT in our test setup. The action equations are already set. Once we go up, we first log in. At this time, we haven't logged in yet. Not confirmed. We haven't interrupted the control C mode yet. Then let me explain. That is counter. All these devices are FM devices. These devices all need to configure a reserve interface. If we don't configure a reserve interface, at this time our interfaces cannot be changed. Let's configure it now. At this moment it's span 1, span 2. At this time it needs the first login requires a password change. We just enter Huawei Azure 1.3 and that's it. The same for this one. Okay, the second one is the same. The passwords are all Huawei Azure 1.3. Okay, next let's change the names first. Span 1, this is leaf 1. Leaf 1A, leaf 1 billion. This one is leaf 2A, leaf 2 billion. Then this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devices. Once up, our first step is to start LDP. This LDP, for instance, we must clearly see how the interfaces are connected. As mentioned earlier, that is, regarding these addresses, the test environment has already been configured. Everything has been configured. We just need to understand how this is connected. That is, entering this address. Let's first configure this ring maintenance port. First, ring maintenance port 0 is used as an NVE address. This address is iPad 10.3.3.3, span 1, span 2, 3.3, 3.3.3.3.32. This one is 10.1.1.1.1.1.1.1.v2. This is 10.2.2. 32, don't get this configuration wrong. 2.2.2.3, this ring maintenance port. What about it? This address is wrong, right? This is, let's check. This 1.3.3.3, right? 3.3. This is 1.1. This is 2.2. Don't get the mask configuration wrong. If you set a 30-bit, later on it's used as an NVE address, it might not connect later. Signals might not be produced. It definitely has to be 32-bit. Then configure this ring maintenance port 1. 1 is for a BGPRD or an OSPRD. Okay, let's start configuring. It's an 11, 11.1.1.1, 32-bit, 11.2.2.2-bit, 11.3.3.3.3, 32-bit, 11.4.4.4, 32-bit, 11.5.5, 32-bit, 11.6.6.6.6. After configuration, that means we are needing to set reserved addresses for SPA1, SPA2. Okay, let's exit now. Exit first. Need to configure this command. This is for VLAN, reserved. Fault main interface 3800 to 3999. What does this mean? It means if we configure it, this device will reserve a VLAN address range for us, which is 3800 to 3999. This address is used for a layer 3 configuration. What does this mean? For instance, our 10G1.0.1.1, what do we call this interface later? Undo port switch. Undo port switch. Okay, we will take a VLAN from here to make a reserved address. If you don't configure it, at that time, what is this interface? It can't change to a third interface. Your undo port switch will fail. All these need to be configured. Everything in the test environment needs to be configured. We just need to configure for span 1 and span 2. Do you see that? Only span 1 and span 2 need configuration, right? Others can't be configured. And after configuring, we first configure this direct connect address. We must be clear about the direct connect address. That's the 11, right? We just use interface 10G1.0.1.1 IP. We first undo port switch, undo shutdown. This should not be needed. Then OSPF network P2P. Finally, we copy this down. Finally, it's a single cut. After the single cut, there are quite a few optimizations. Later on, we copy them all down. For now, we won't optimize, at most change a few computer settings. How to optimize? It can be done like this. That is to say, how can Dyna be implemented? After going online, at that time it will, for instance, under the interface, make some optimizations, for example, LS convergence, or under the OSPF protocol, there are some optimization mechanisms. Copy all this back, paste it over. With this, I think you should probably earn extra points, right? Good, let's keep all of this. This address is 11, right? 11 is connected to leaf 1. iPad is 10.1.12. It is 10.1.1.13. 30-bit, 10G10 to 12. This one is 17, 1.1.17, 30-bit. Just remember one thing, the address range increases by 4. It goes 13, 17, 21, and 25, right? Interface 10G10 to 13. This one is 10.1.1.21, 30-bit. 10G10 to 14. 100 to 1.1.1.25, right? 25, 30. Let's see if we missed anything just now. 13 is correct, right? 13, 14, no problem. 14 has all been changed to another type. Then SPAN2, interface 10G10 to 11, iPad. It starts from 10.1. It starts from 33. That means SPAN1 starts from 13. SPAN02 starts from 33. 100.1.1.1.33, 30-bit. 1012. This one is 37, right? 10.1.1.1.37, 30-bit. This one is 41. 10.1.1.41, 30-bit. Check if you remember correctly, 33, 37, 41 increments by 4 each time, right? Always adding 4 each time. It's incremental. Then configured AEAAF1. This has LEAF1. Interface 10G10 to 11. This should be, look, this one is 133, right? Wait, SPAN1 is 13, this one is 30, so it should be 14 and 34. Undo port switch. OSPF network P2P. You must remember this address clearly. It's IP address 10.1.1. 14 30-bit. 12, this is 34. Leave 1 billion. It should be 8, right? 18 and 38. 10.1.1.18. 30-bit. This one is 38. We can pin it, right? Correct. 100.1.1.17 and 37. Problem. Then this is LEAF1, right? It should be 22, right? 10.1.1.1.22. 30-bit. It should be 10.1.1.1.42. 30. We can ping it. Ping 10.1.1.1.21. It's wrong. 41, no problem. 2 billion, interface 10.0.0.0.11. It should be a 46. It should be 26 and 46. 10.1.1.1.26. 30-bit. This one is 46. Good. Ping this one is 0.1.1.25. And 45, this must connect. This is the first part. This professional configuration. Okay, let's start with this.